You're listening to Captain John Doe, real aviation stories told anonymously. Let's get into it. Hello, 2026 is our first official episode of the new year. I'm Mindy.
And I'm Kevin. Happy New Year, all you Captain John Doe and Janes out there.
Welcome back. I feel like we already did like a New Year episode. We kind of did, but it was on New Year's Eve. But this is our first official episode of the new year, and we are so excited. We just kind of did a recap on our social media of what 2025 was for us. We released the podcast in August of 2025. It's been a couple months and it's been happening really fast.
It's been really good. I mean, the support that we're getting is off the chart. Mindy was just telling me today that the socials alone are getting 7 figures now combined on listens and views and everything, which is incredible because like she puts a lot of work into it, but like also as a consumer, how cool are those videos? I know I've said it before, but I really mean it. Like I feel like I'm a fan of, you know, the show itself, even though I'm a host.
You have to be. That's the way that you create content authentically and passionately. People ask me all the time about being a content creator because I make all sorts of content outside of this podcast. I make a lot of aviation pilot-esque content for Instagram and YouTube videos. And people always ask, what's the key to doing it? And the core key is consistency, right? But how do you have consistency before your platform gets really big? And the answer is that you have to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
You have to be a fan of yourself, of your own content, of the projects.
You got to like what you're putting out, right?
Yeah, you have to love it because it's not always easy being a content creator and not everything, quote, takes off, you know?
No.
Not everything goes viral. So you have to be okay going to bed at night knowing that you put effort into something that may not have gotten all the exposure you wanted, but you loved the process. You love your product. It's something that you want to look back on. So yeah, I mean, this project kind of started as a passion project. It still is very much so. But we are still working on making our network larger. So please share this with your aviation friends, your crewmates, and the other pilots that you fly with, because we'd love to hear more stories. And we'd love to have more people listening in. It's been great.
Yeah, I mean, for us, for the Captain John Doe side of the socials, you know, our 2026 goals are pretty much double everything. You know, like I do think that's a reasonable goal. When Mindy and I were talking about like what should our goals be for the podcast, and I'm very pragmatic, I guess, when I look at things. I'm either like way over the top or like really, really reasonable.
You are terrible at goal setting. You're terrible. Like, you either make them like, yes, you just said it perfect. You always make goals either incredibly achievable, which then that's not a good goal, or you make it so unachievable, which is not a good goal.
It's like we're buying a Vision Jet out this podcast, or we're just going to give out some more t-shirts for free.
I'm just like, okay, we need to have realistic goals that are just out of reach.
So like the realistic goal, like obviously we want to double our viewership on the socials. We want to double our listeners. We want to double our reviews, which is coming from you guys. We want to keep the submissions coming. I mean, we were just on vacation for a while and every day another submission kept coming in. And that means 1, you guys like the show. 2, we're doing something right that makes you guys keep thinking of it, because this show doesn't happen with that. I mean, we just read your stories. Like we can't just make these things up. As much as some of the comments on Instagram and YouTube like to say that we're just making these up, fun fact, we haven't made them up.
So I know we've mentioned it before, but the comments on social media kill me. It's so funny because people will comment saying this is made up. I'm like, well, we didn't make it up. Like,
I know. I do think you were talking about social media. Like that's what's different about our podcast. Like, yeah, we don't talk about current events. We do talk about ourselves a little bit, but it's mostly about you guys. But what's different is the social media side. Like the presence that is there is constant. It's something that I think people know is going to happen. You're going to see something from Captain John Doe every single day.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really good place to be, because not everybody, what we've learned, especially going on vacation to see family, they do listen to the podcast via social media and not the Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Well, you just mentioned we were in Florida. Before we get into that really quick, since we talked about submitting stories, just a reminder, go to www.captainjohndoe.com. That's where you submit your story to our show. Maybe one day you'll be driving your car, listen to a podcast, and hear a story that you wrote in, and it's fully anonymous. So give us all the greatest details. But with that, just a little catch up. We were just in Florida just after Christmas. We went to Florida for a couple days to Orlando. That's where I'm from. Kevin is from Naples, Florida. So we are definitely Florida people. And you just got a lot done while we were there, too.
I did. So those of you guys have been following along. I'm trying to get all of my requirements for my ATP set. That way I can get hired as an airline pilot, and looking everywhere across the country for time building. Lo and behold, Apopka, I'll give them a shout out. First Landings, they're not where I went to school for my ratings, but I went there for my multi-training. They had a great deal.
You didn't go for multi-training.
I'm sorry, multi-time building.
Let's
Hold on.
Let's rewind. You've had your multi-engine rating for several months now.
A year.
But most people gain multi-engine time towards their career requirements via teaching. But your flight school that you work for here in Las Vegas does not have a multi-engine. You guys do not provide multi-engine training. So you were left very short on multi-engine time needed to become an airline pilot.
That's a good point. And you bring me back in. So that makes me think of the conversation we had is, should I go get my MEI or should...
But why would you? There's no multi.
This is what we're talking about. So like MEI or go pay...
MEI.
All right, go get our multi-engine instructor rating.
Okay.
So Mindy made a lot of good points. Like, it's going to cost, let's say, $5,000, and I still won't have to get my multi-engine instructor rating.
Right.
And I still won't have enough time to satisfy the minimums to get hired by an airliner. So that almost immediately went out the table. As much as I would love another certificate, the financial obligation just didn't make sense.
For context, in this specific situation, Kevin needs 25 hours of multi-engine time. How much time did you get while getting your multi-engine license, your rating?
7 hours.
7 hours. So you needed 18 more hours. If you were to get your multi-engine instructor license, which would be great to pay for something that you get a license for.
Yeah.
That would really only take you 3 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
It's really just check ride prep because you already have your license. So that would get you to 10 hours, and then you'd have to find somewhere to teach for 15 hours.
What am I going to do with that?
You're not allowed to. I mean, like most flight schools, you have an exclusivity. So what are you going to do with that? Nothing.
Nothing. So we decided to look for the time building and pay to do that.
Which was 18 hours of time building, and tell them what, where, how much this was.
Okay, I'll give the down and dirty. It was at First Landings in Apopka and a twin Technum.
What is that? It's called a 2006 or 2008 or something?
Yeah, 2006. So it's a P06 Tango for anyone who knows aircraft, whatever. But it's a multi-engine. It's got landing gear, retractable landing gear.
It looks like a dolphin.
It is. It's a very weird plane. I was hell-bent on either a Diamond or a Technum because of the FADEC thing and the fact that I didn't want to have to go through a lot of extra strain on my own brain to do this. So the rate they gave me was $199 all in per hour. $199 all in.
That's wet with fuel and with an instructor on board the whole time. So you didn't even really have to like go through the mental gymnastics of getting checked out on a plane and memorizing a new POH and doing all this stuff. You kind of just rode up front with an MEI who showed you the ropes.
Correct.
Easily and throughout.
Correct. So it was a pretty awesome thing. The only big caveat was they had a strong rule, and this is normal apparently for those of you guys have looked around, that we were not able to land anywhere but Apopka.
Just let that sink in. He flew 18 hours only landing and taking off from one singular airport.
And I did it over 2 days. So I only landed the plane 4 times. I'm current, if you're wondering.
How did those flights go? Like, how many times did you land? What was that like?
So we took off, flew for 5 hours. And then,
where did you go? Just the traffic pattern?
No, we flew around Florida the first leg.
Like literally in the perimeter of Florida?
Yeah, literally the perimeter of Florida for 5 hours. We had the power all the way back. We were going no faster than like 95 knots over the ground the whole time. It was
don't need to fly fast.
It was crazy. Yeah. So then we came back and landed. I shot an approach just so I could do it, because for those of you who are instructors, you never really get to do approaches unless it's actual IMC. So I did say let's at least get something more out of it. And then we went back up. We took a 30-minute break on the ground, and then we went up to like Georgia and back. And there was some IMC. It was night. We did all this at night, by the way. But autopilot was on most of the time. And then the next day I came back and did it again. So total, there was 4 takeoffs and 4 landings.
That's crazy.
18 hours in the logbook. Crazy.
I was like, they need to contract this out to surveillance companies that need surveillance.
Yeah. So the total bill was like $3,700 for 18 hours in a multi with a MEI, with the instructor as well.
Smoking deal.
No, they weren't really providing instruction. It was more insurance purposes, but they were there. And I was like making sure that the kid got paid. I'm like, you are getting paid for this, right? But we got that done. Thankfully, that's a huge stress off my shoulders, because as Mindy mentioned, I fly Cirruses pretty much exclusively, and I have no opportunity to fly multi, which is not good for my career progression. And we ended up having to take out some more, what's the right word I'm looking for? We had to pay again. You know, you thought you were done paying, but...
Yeah, and your pilot career, once you get to the point where you're getting paid to fly, it's really hard to go back to paying to fly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I thought I was done with these knife wounds.
Yeah, and this one hurts the hardest, and everybody knows who's in a similar position as mine. The deal I got is about as good as you can get.
Yeah, that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that. I mean, some places you can split with another person, but even then, I mean, I don't understand. Anyways.
Well, okay. 2 things that I want to kind of create a little rabbit hole off of that. One is this reminded me that as we are both going through a lot of experiences in our career, and we've done a lot, we both have a lot to go, but if you guys don't necessarily have a story to write into the show, I did have an idea that if you're looking for advice, you should write into the show. Isn't that a fun idea?
That is fun.
And we might not do that every episode, but if anyone's looking for any advice on what should I do, or I'm in this situation or whatever, it's still anonymous. I mean, there is an option to put your email. So if there needs to be a follow-up, go ahead and put it on there. But you can write in if you're looking for advice, something that's happening at your job or as you're progressing, write it in and we can build that into the beginning of the show.
We love sharing opinions, don't we?
Yeah, we might not give you good advice, but we'll give you something.
I do think that we have enough life experience to at least share what you shouldn't do. Yeah. I don't know what you should do.
Maybe.
But
depends on what it is. So just an idea. If you guys are looking for some advice, or you're like on the fence about something, should I do this or should I do that? Should I go to this route or that route? Send it in to us and we'll have a conversation that you guys can listen to.
I'll give you my opinion opinion all day on how to flight train. Yeah, all day. Anyways, this really was like it put the little lid on my experience of this, I guess, year hiatus of trying to build time, because right now I'm rolling in to the end. I've reached all ATP minimum requirements, but the 1,500 hours, which should hopefully come up soon. And then after that, we're just waiting, right?
Yeah. Well, again, thank you guys so much for leaving reviews. That's a way that podcasts get seen and get noticed and are better searchable when people are typing in aviation podcast. We want ours to be up there, of course. And if you love this podcast, we'd love if you could help us out and leave us a review. It's free for you to do that. And someone wrote into us saying, hey, not everyone knows how to do that. So I'll just let you know, if you're on Apple Podcasts, for example, click on our show name, and where you see the list of all the episodes, scroll down to the bottom and you'll see ratings and review. And that's where you can leave one for us. And we'd be so grateful. And that leads me to reading some reviews. The next one that we're up on is M. Conway7 saying, love this podcast, 5 stars. Mindy and Kevin are such great hosts. Love hearing all of these stories. I love hearing them too. So keep writing them in, CaptainJohnDoe.com.
The flight attendant 1123 said, feels like you're hanging out with friends. Mindy and Kevin are great hosts, and the way the podcast is set up always feels like you're hanging out with friends, having drinks. The stories they read are from all different types of aviation, hysterical and relatable. Give it a listen. You'll never know what you're going to hear.
That's true. I never know what we're going to hear.
Literally.
It's a surprise.
I'm surprised what I'm going to say in the next second.
Yeah, well, I think we've shared behind the curtain before that me and Kevin don't know the stories that we are choosing to read on the show. When people submit stories, we do not read them. I never open the email. I never look at our spreadsheet. Only day of, I go to the top of the list. I pick one that I resonate with that's kind of in chronological order.
You, though, make sure that I don't read your story that
right.
You read.
You don't read the story. So like in our spreadsheet, I'll highlight mine pink and he knows not to read it. And like, why would you? You want to be surprised on the show. And same, if I see one that's blue, it means that Kevin kind of took ownership of that story. That's one that he wants to read. So we really don't read them. And honestly, even the ones we pick out, we just kind of skim. It's kind of a surprise as it's literally falling out of my mouth on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're getting genuine reactions. Definitely. But speaking of reviews, just a reminder that we're doing a monthly merch giveaway all year long of Captain John Doe merch. We will pick one winner per month, and you can enter for free by following us on Instagram and commenting on our monthly giveaway post. There's the full rules and how to enter on our website, CaptainJohnDoe.com. Another way to enter is leaving us a podcast review and just sending us a DM that you have done it. So head to the website for all of it. It's open to U.S. residents 18 and older, no purchase necessary. And I hope that you guys win. But I had a second rabbit hole that I did not forget about.
Oh, okay.
About Florida.
Florida.
Since me and Kevin are from Florida, do you know the Muffin Man?
I do know the Muffin Man very well.
Do you know Florida Man?
I mean, you literally live with Florida Man. Do I know Florida Man? What kind of question is that?
So, listeners, if you don't know what Florida Man is the embodiment of a resident in the state of Florida that bleeds Floridian.
Let's just say it's freedom in its worst and best ways.
Oh, it's
in its worst and best ways.
Yeah, let's say it doesn't mean something good and it doesn't mean something bad.
No.
It's like a Florida man is the guy that wears flip-flops even when it's 20 degrees out, which is rare in Florida, but flip-flops and shorts year-round, and they're crafty. And they know how to solve problems in very creative ways. And they aren't scared of anything. They're not scared of snakes. They're not scared of alligators. A Florida man is an iconic characteristic that people in Florida may or may not have.
If you call me a Florida man, I would look at that as a compliment.
Yeah, it could also not be. Because people have called you a Florida man in a non-compliment way.
It's the flip-flops on the boat in the middle of winter catching redfish and trout.
So
that's how I look at myself.
Was this show on Netflix, by the way?
It's on HBO.
Okay, so me and Kevin were flipping through HBO a couple days ago, and there is a series called Florida Man. And the series, we were just dying laughing. It's a great series if you just want something easy to watch. Each episode, they reenact and get the real people from the craziest Florida stories. Because everyone knows that anytime you see a crazy news headline and then you see Florida on it, you're like, oh, yep, that checks out. So they made a whole show about it, and it's hilarious. And so then I asked Kevin, had he ever done the Florida Man challenge? And you said, what is that? And I was like, it's when you type in Google Florida Man and then your birthday. And then the headline that comes up is like your personal Florida Man story. So what happened when we typed in yours? Should I do it real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Florida Man, April 7th.
April 9th. You got my birthday wrong.
I put your birthday on paperwork every freaking day, and I'm going to get it wrong right now. April 9th.
Oh, my goodness, Mindy.
Okay, Florida Man, April 9th. Okay, I'm going to read the first headline that comes up. Oh, this is disgusting. Okay. A Florida man was found living with the decomposing body of his 92-year-old mother, police say. And then another one, another businessman was sentenced to 30 months in prison for evading more than $5.5 million in taxes. Another good one from April 9th, Florida man, April 9th. A man linked to several indecent exposure incidents was arrested after exposing himself in a McDonald's drive-thru.
Yeah, and they're all precluded by the word Florida man.
So are you guys getting that? Are you understanding now? You guys got to do this. Type in Florida man and then your birthday. Just don't get it wrong like I did. So something funny happened, though, when I typed in Florida man and then my birthday.
Oh, I know your birthday.
Hit me.
June 5th.
Okay. So Florida man, June 5th. And this is the first headline that came up. And it was just too perfect to not share with you guys. Federal jury finds man guilty of posing as a flight attendant to obtain free flights. And that brings us into our first story, folks. This was in Miami. And this is from the Department of Justice, actual Florida government website. On June 5th, a federal jury convicted Tyron Alexander, 35, of wire fraud and entering into a secure area of an airport by false pretenses. According to court documents and evidence presented at trial from 2018 to 2024, Alexander booked free flights on an airline carrier's website that were only available to pilots and flight attendants. In total, Alexander flew on 34 flights with the airline carrier without paying for any of them by posing as a flight attendant who worked for other airlines. Over the 34 flights, Alexander claimed through the airline carrier's website application process, a process that required an applicant to select whether they were a pilot or flight attendant and provide their employer, date of hire, and badge number information, that he worked for 7 different airlines and had approximately 30 different badge numbers and dates of hire. The evidence at trial also showed that Alexander posed as a flight attendant on 3 other airline carriers. Ultimately, Alexander booked more than 120 free flights by falsely claiming to be a flight attendant.
That is so impressive that he was able to get away with it that long.
Crafty. See, what I went back to on
So impressive.
how to describe a Florida man, they're always crafty, sometimes not for good.
Like, that is like such a deep, fraudulent thing this guy did, and it worked.
But
how did it work?
So I'm saying I'm worried how easy that was.
How did it work?
He just typed in random badge numbers and was able to get by.
I don't know. I couldn't fly for free as a controller for the government, but this guy figured it out by just
saying that
making something up.
All you have to do is just say you're a flight attendant, and they're like, yeah, sure, man, come on.
Come on in.
I wonder, I didn't read the entire thing.
Florida man wins again.
Florida man. So I wonder how much money that added up to, and if he had if that's what he got charged with. I didn't read the entire.
I mean, I would imagine they would at least sue them for damages, which would be 120 flights worth.
Where was he going?
Who knows?
And why did he need the free flight? So once he got somewhere on 120 flights, then was he posing as a hotel employee to get free hotel nights? How deep does this go?
Oh, it goes that deep. There's no doubt. He's a Marriott Bonvoy employee.
Yeah. He's a Hilton Air.
Okay. What's the way you can do it free? What's your way?
I mean,
I see. What's the way we do it? I shouldn't have said what's the way you can do it free. Nothing's free. But for you guys that are out there that are little travel bugs that have a little bit of extra time, go wild.
yeah, we have the Frontier Pass. I know Frontier doesn't have the greatest airline review. It's no Delta. I would rather be on Delta any day of the week. No shade to Frontier. It's just better. But Frontier has something called a Go Wild Pass, and we bought it on sale. I want to say it was $300, and we bought it in the fall of 2025, and it's good until the spring of 2027. There are blackout days, but we fly for just the taxes on any flight. There's a little more to it on how you book the Go Wild flights, but I went round trip to Florida for $28 on it, and that already paid for the $300 pass Go Wild.
How's that even possible?
Yeah. Oh, it's a crazy deal. I mean, I don't know if I should be gatekeeping it or not. It's a little too late now, but we've told a lot of people about it. One of our friends got us onto the Go Wild Pass, and we made so much fun of him. And every time he goes somewhere, we're like, "Oh, you're going wild?"
I'll be going wild to Breckenridge in March, probably.
And I'm going to be going wild back to Florida at the end of this month.
Well, speaking of going wild back to Florida, since we keep talking about Florida, since it's the new year, a big event that we will be going wild at will be Sun and Fun.
Sun and Fun.
Which is in April of this year. And that's a great opportunity for us to get back in front of everybody and see all of our friends and in the aviation space, because we didn't go to Oshkosh this past year. We will be back in the air show game by going wild.
So Sun and Fun, though. You brought up Sun and Fun. I don't know why you're talking about Oshkosh.
I don't know why. I was thinking about Florida Man, and then my brain got
Sun and Fun
distracted.
and Oshkosh are different shows.
Talking about Sun and Fun.
Okay.
Fun in the sun.
Sun and Fun, Fun in the Sun. Great show. I've always loved Sun and Fun. That's the first air show I've ever went to in aviation. So if you've never been, I would say put it on your list. Especially if you work in aviation. I think that it's such a better networking opportunity versus Oshkosh, for example. Oshkosh is just so huge and there's too much going on. But Sun and Fun, I feel like, has a smaller footprint in a really great way. It allows you to be more focused while you're there and actually have some meetings with people. And then, of course, the air show is amazing. They have the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds rotating every other year.
Thunderbirds this year.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say that. You cut me off. I'm pretty sure the Thunderbirds are this year because the Blue Angels were last year. But it's really great. So we will be there. We don't know what days yet, but as it gets closer, we'll be sure to let you guys know. That way you guys can meet up with us and get some swag or stickers or whatever we show up with.
Well, I hope when I see you guys there, you'll call me a Florida Man. But Captain Florida Man.
Hopefully you'll have an airline job by then.
Ooh, that would be.
That's going to be real tight. You're going to be on the cusp.
Yeah, I don't think I will have the epaulets yet, but let's hope that I will have a piece of paper saying I might have a job.
In the queue.
All right, let's get back to some stories. So this story is from a guy that worked at an FBO, and he kind of gave a couple bullet points of some observations that he had. And I like this one a lot because when I was in college, I worked for Shelter, and I had a lot of similar experiences of just kind of observing and watching what happens at an airport, because there's a lot of very interesting things that happen. All right. During flight training, like most of us, I had to get a job at the local FBO fueling. FBO stands for Fixed Base Operations, the Private Aviation Terminal. For context, to set the scene, it's wintertime in the Midwest at a mom-and-pop FBO. In my extremely short 6 months working there, I saw some interesting things. We can call this list funny FBO observations.
I'm sad.
At said FBO, a lot of aircraft sales, pre-sale maintenance checks, some corporate flying, and lots of flight training all happen there. One day, an aircraft salesman came to the fueling desk and asked for crayons, which we did not have, so my coworker and I offered him a pen. He insisted he needed crayons to write the report for the aircraft sale. We laughed. We offered a pencil, but with a completely serious face, he said, "I only use crayons." This is why I picked it.
I have so many thoughts, but I'm not going to interrupt because there's a longer list.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right, that's point one. Point two. Another funny FBO observation. Every Wednesday evening, an older guy who looked like Einstein meets Bill Nye. He would come in with a notebook and ask us a million questions, mostly about a mysterious light he reports seeing at the airport at night. He was convinced it's aliens. Like, he was really convinced. This light was just the airport beacon. Okay. Another story. Another day at said FBO, I was fueling a helicopter, and on the next space over, there was a fractional owner jet loading its passengers. Pretty normal, right? Well, passengers arrived, and 10 of them were dressed like Elvis, men and women. And 2 were dressed like Lucy from I Love Lucy. They wouldn't talk to anyone and got right on the plane.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, they bet you going to Vegas.
I bet they were.
But they're going here. All right, last story. I have a whole list of these wild things that happened there. Weird place. And to think it was only 6 months. If you like more funny things at FBO, let me know. I could go on for days.
Oh, yes. Immediate yes. Keep sending them in. I kind of even like these bite-sized stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back to the aircraft sales as a
That was my reverse.
broker.
Okay. The guy with crayons. That reminds me of something so funny. I will never throw shade on people I work with in the industry. However, there was this individual that I had worked with, not a sales, I guess it was kind of a salesperson. I'm not going to say his exact job title, but someone that came to me and asked for a review on this guy. The guy, I'll say, was kind of strange, a little sloppy on some things. And they were like, oh, so, hey, I'm thinking about working with this guy on this deal, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's the review? I was like, all I can tell you is that he exclusively writes emails in Comic Sans. I'm just going to leave that right there. If anyone knows the font Comic Sans, you will immediately know this type of person.
What?
This is extremely niche. Like, I know, Kevin, that you're not even understanding.
No.
You're not a tech guy.
No.
Anyone who understands and anyone who knows the font Comic Sans is laughing with me right now and is like, oh no. That's like the equivalent of a graphic designer making flyers and oh crap, what was that old Microsoft application? Paint. In Paint. And you're still looking at me blankly.
I do remember Paint, but I painted with watercolors, not on a computer.
Okay, well, there was an application on
I know what you're talking about.
Computers that was Paint, Microsoft Paint, and like it was so crappy. It just like, okay, it's so niche. But anyways, this is what it reminds me of. Because honestly, if you were to write in a crayon, it kind of looks like Comic Sans, the font. So I'm just going to leave that there. This might be the same person.
Oh my gosh. Lesson of the day is do some research and just hire Mindy.
Hold on, I have a very important question.
Okay, sorry.
It's very important.
Go.
I need your most serious face. Is it crowns or crayons?
Crayons.
You said both words at the same time. How did you do that?
I tried hard.
You're trying to say both to appease people listening.
Crayons. Is it tomato or tomato?
Crayon.
Potato, patata.
Some people say crowns. And some people say crayons. I say crayons.
Crayons.
Crowns.
Crayons.
I'm saying crowns.
Crayons. Okay.
No, not done. I would love to see a copy of the sales agreement written in crayons. I want to know what color he normally uses.
I'm going to guess.
Green?
I was going to say green.
Because money.
I was going to think green. Yeah.
But red is a very strong color.
Ooh,
That's
strong.
really setting a statement. Like, you can't red X my contract if it's already red, baby.
In crayons.
That's a statement.
Okay.
Blue feels very like mutually agreeable. Oh no. Oh. I just got that wrong.
Oh.
Mutually agreeable gray. Have you ever heard of that?
No. Why would I have heard of that?
All these things I'm saying are very niche. And I love it. You know none of them. Mutually agreeable gray is one of the most common paint colors. And they call it that because when married couples go in to look at paint colors and they can't decide on one, this is the most picked color, and it's called mutually agreeable gray.
Let's just be clear. I'm not picking paint for anything.
I sound psychotic right now. I know. You're looking at me like I'm a crazy person. I don't care.
Somebody listening
Talking
to
about
this.
a sales guy that uses crayons, and you're looking at me like I'm the crazy person.
He likes crayons, and they didn't have any. That's not cool.
You think he eats them for a little snacky afterwards?
They probably got some good calories in there, right?
Ooh, are we about to bring that up? Do inanimate objects have calories? If you were to eat your couch, does it have calories?
Look it up. I did. A couch has quite the amount of calories.
My chat GPT thinks I am the biggest loser. Like, that's the type of things I ask it.
Chat's your best friend.
Is how many calories are in a couch if I were to eat it?
There's like 35,000.
However, none of them are like nutritional calories. It kind of counts as nothing.
But you'd get full from it.
You would. That's why I was so confused.
How much of the couch could you eat?
I don't know, but there is a show on TLC called My Strange Addiction, and there's a lady on there that eats her mattress.
Okay. This has gone off the rails. I was going to share a little FBO thing, but I think we're just going to move on.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But I can't top eating mattress.
All of these really great tidbits of information that is definitely going to flow into their daily conversation.
It's still crayons, no matter what. However you think I'm saying it.
Do you think I need a signature writing tool?
Yeah, I do, but you don't write. Why would you need a... Hold on, no.
Do I need a signature font?
Yes, okay.
Really?
Yes. I don't know what that would be. I mean, I know Times New Roman.
Yeah, well, I think that's the font that our contracts are in, and I can't change that. But do my emails need to have a signature look?
They should have a little bit of color in it.
No. See,
A little crayon color.
you are hilariously like always give me bad business advice because you don't do business. You don't work in business industry, and I'll be like, should I do this? Sometimes jokingly, and you're like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, definitely put the font at the end in your name in pink. Yeah, people would love that. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, put a big fat picture of yourself at the end too.
Are you calling me fat? Did you just call me fat?
I said a big fat picture, not a big fat Mindy.
Those sound like the same thing.
Well, see what I have to deal with? Gosh, unbelievable.
I haven't owned crayons. It probably.
You know who does own crayons? All of them?
Who?
Your mother.
Yeah.
All of them.
Did you see them somewhere when we were just there?
Yeah. They're in the little room downstairs.
Oh, that's the art room.
The art
There's
room.
crayons in the art room.
in the art room from 30 years ago.
If there's evidence of aliens, it's definitely in my mother's basement.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean,
I feel like everyone has that with their parents.
not as aggressive as your mother's basement.
And she has like 30,000 VHS tapes of all Disney movies.
All of them.
They're probably worth a fortune.
I thought about that at one time. Like, there's enough in here that we could probably buy a new boat.
Just cash in. Cash in on Bambi.
People go crazy for her stash.
All right, next one. The guy that, okay, speaking of aliens, great segue, convinced there was aliens at the airport and he looked like Einstein beats Bill Nye. Great description of a person. I know exactly what this guy looks like. Mm-hmm. There's a guy on Discovery Channel that looks like this, and I can't put my finger on what his name is. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, but I'm just picturing this guy holding up like an old lamp.
Not the alien. Yeah, it's the alien show on the History Channel or something. The guy that looks like
Josh from Expedition Unknown.
Probably. You know the guy I'm talking about that looks like Einstein meets Bill Nye.
Yeah, it probably is him. He probably is a pilot too.
Speaking of New Year's, I saw something online that was Bill Nye. No, I don't remember. It was something like a short for William New Year's Eve. Okay.
What are we talking about right now?
I had way too much caffeine today, and I'm also still so tired.
A sleepy Mindy is a fun Mindy.
That's really funny, though. I love when normies come to the airport. That's all I'll say about that. Because that guy wasn't a pilot. He was just like a neighbor who thought there was aliens there.
Yeah, it happens every day. I'm sure all of you guys know about that.
I'd love to read his notebook. At least, though.
His manifesto.
Yeah, don't say that. Ooh. At least, though, it wasn't a notebook filled of noise complaints.
Written in crayons.
Because most normies that live next to an airport, when they go to the airport, what are they doing? Complaining about the airplane noise.
My algorithm is all about that. I see tons of complaints about airplanes flying on Facebook right now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of accounts. There's an account that I see pop up a lot that's by Camarillo Airport and complaining about all the celebrities that fly in and out and how loud it is. And I'm like, you live by an airport. I don't know how long Camarillo's been around, but probably longer than you owned your house. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Just California in general, though. Like, you kind of got to expect some noise in California.
We literally lived on an airport, so.
It's a densely populated area. There's going to be a lot of airports and a lot of noise.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all those FBO stories. They were really good. So please send some more. Anyone else out there who has them? I like that little structure too. Just give like 2-3 sentence bullet points because we all love that.
Yeah, you don't have to have these like long stories. If it's a singular story, we'd love it to take a little time to read it. But if you have a bunch of small stories, we can hit that.
Boom, 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 boom.
This episode is brought to you in part by Airplane Academy Private Pilot Flashcards. Our friend Charlie makes these amazing private pilot flashcards that are color-coded in 6 different sections. It goes over the FARs and the AIM and the PHAC. And it's really great to use when you're studying or if you're a CFI and you're doing ground sessions with your students. It's really amazing. We have a set of them. They're great quality. So head to airplaneacademy.com/John Doe to check it out and get a set for yourself.
All right, let's get back into the episode. I'm going to share one more story with you guys. The title is Shout Out to CFIs, Including Mine. I began my aviation journey in 2020 at the age of 53. Awesome, by the way.
Hell yeah.
It was the height of COVID. Nobody was going out, let alone climbing into a small airplane with a stranger. We're going to come back to that statement in a second because Mindy and I definitely went out.
I have words.
I was incredibly fortunate to find a flight instructor willing to do just that. My CFI, we'll call him Tyler, was a 20-something-year-old with over 5,000 hours. He took on a student old enough to be his father. Not only was he willing to train during a pandemic, but he was generous with his time, working nights and weekends to help me chase my dreams of becoming a pilot. One evening during training, Tyler had casually mentioned how nice the sunset was. I began rambling on, as I tend to do, about sunsets and the beautiful skies. I kept talking. He repeated the comment. I kept going. Finally, he calmly asked, when do nav lights need to be on? That was the moment the light bulb went off as to why he mentioned the sunset. His method was effective. I'm forever grateful for the training, education, and wisdom my CFI shared. I know there are many CFIs out there helping us reach our aviation dreams. You're all deeply appreciated. Thank you. And taught a lesson that I've never forgotten. There's not a sunset that I see to this day without saying to myself, and sometimes out loud, turn on the nav lights.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the teaching style of this, of a story kind of based teaching, because he's right. Every time he's going to see the sunset when he's flying, he's going to think of that moment with his instructor and this funny interaction, versus an instructor saying, time to turn on the nav lights, and then you flip a switch on and you're going to forget it time and time again.
It's the greatest thing. I'd say it's the biggest growth as instructors is when you start teaching like that, instead of doing the opposite, saying we need our nav lights on at this time. I mean, like Mindy said, I've seen so much more progression in myself as a teacher by learning how prior students have either excelled quicker or taken a longer time. And it's usually as simple as how I portray the scenario we got going on.
Well, it's because, and instructors will know this, the rote knowledge, rote memory, that's when you just like memorize something. So of course, a memory item as a pilot is nav lights on when the sunset's on, sunset to sunrise. But how do you really make an impact on ingraining that rote knowledge into a student? And that's through scenario-based training and through stories and through moments like this. So this is a genius way to teach. I love it. I try to do that. I remember teaching you, trying to lead you into things by just kind of bringing something up. And you were the same way as this guy, where I could see this exact scenario happening with us.
Yeah.
And it didn't, I don't think. Maybe it
probably did.
But I can see this happening to us, where me being like, so great sunset. And you'd be like, yeah, the sunset's great, but yesterday was better. I'd be like, yep.
Could have been better.
But the sunset tonight happening right now at this very moment in time is just one to really think about.
Yeah, perfectly done. I find myself, where this happens the most is like with flaps. Something as silly as that, especially when we're flying the Cirrus.
Yeah, it's like you're coming in on final and looking out the window like, wow, I can't believe we're going faster than the cars down there.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's like, wow, why are we going so fast right now? And as long as I don't say the word flaps, they're going to learn from that, even if they never put them in.
Or with gear training. I remember that always happening, because so many people forget to put the gear up after takeoff when you're first learning retractable gear. And I remember instructors a lot being like, wow, we're going so slow. Is the power full right now? And you'd be like, yeah, wow, that's so weird. Huh. And then finally the student will figure out to put the gear up like, oh, doy.
I'll give you a real world example of why this type of training matters, because on one of my instrument check ride, I did an approach and we went missed. And I remember not retracting the flaps until like, let's call it 700 feet or something. It was in a Cherokee. So the flaps should have been retracted a little bit earlier. But the DPE said absolutely nothing at all. And I had this mini panic attack, and, you were in my brain, my instructor's in my brain, like flaps, because it's always like the takeoff where you tend to forget the simple things, and not your first takeoff either. It's like the second or third, because I've noticed students are really good doing checklists the very first time, and then it kind of goes out the way.
Right. Did you want to say anything about COVID training? And then we'll wrap this up.
I wasn't going to say anything about COVID training. I was just say me and you traveled the world during COVID.
Yeah, we did.
We went to Africa. We went to Singapore. Went to Bali. Went to the Bahamas. Wait, no, Bali and Singapore weren't during.
Not go to Bali and Singapore during COVID.
I'm sorry. We went to Africa and the Bahamas.
Let us into Singapore.
No.
There's no way we got into Singapore.
No, I do remember, though, there was a funny thing when we landed in Windhoek, Namibia. We had our COVID test and all that stuff, whatever. We're not getting into all that stuff, but they wouldn't take our tests. And I was getting real hot, and I just, feel a little tug on my shirt, and Mindy goes, "It's okay. Calm down." And I'm like, this is free. This is so annoying, because like they wouldn't take our tests that were real. And I look over, I think Mindy looked over too, at the people checking in next to us, and they had color on their form. So I found a form that had color on it, and that's all it took.
Yep. I think every wife has to remind their husband every now and then that the way to get what you want is not through arguing. Ever.
It's not through knocking down the door.
No, you got to be manipulative.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to outsmart these people.
And I'm a pretty calm demeanor person, but every now and again, my temper.
Always at the wrong time. God, all you boys always lose your temper at the wrong time in a foreign country government office, as if you're going to
during COVID,
them.
During the biggest pandemic of like our lifetime.
Stupid.
Whatever. That's for another story to get more in depth. Anyways, 2026 is already off to a great start. These stories I love. I think you guys kind of get the gist of it. We share like funny ones and we share like real ones. It does not matter. We are not picking and choosing which ones we want to read. We're reading all of them because of you guys. We're keeping this podcast going. So if you submit the story, that it will be read. I promise you.
Well, let's not make a promise. Now someone's going to drop one in. It's a joke. It's going to be ridiculous.
All right.
No. We're going to filter. Sorry, guys.
Okay, we'll filter to an extent, but like very loosely filter.
We'll say we haven't skipped one yet. But if you are kind of being devious right now in your seat, thinking about what you're going to send us, it doesn't mean it's getting on the show.
Listen, I can get the wool pulled over me pretty easily. And once again, Mindy's not proofreading these. So if you guys have something, send it in to Kevin.
All right. Well, we wish you guys the best for 2026 and cannot wait to grow this amazing community with you guys. And with that, we will see you next Wednesday.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for flying with Captain John Doe. If you have a story to share, visit CaptainJohnDoe.com and stay anonymous. New episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell your favorite crew members.